Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey.
Joe Malillo here. I'm your host. And we got Mike Thompson, Stuart Fillmore, Travis Thompson, and our buddy Todd Hiles. He is not on the episode tonight. He's on assignment, apparently. That's what he told
Yeah.
us. And then we actually have two special guests today. You guys remember that we're working with Crown Point Jail and the Sheriff's House Association up there for Crown Point Jail for an event coming up in a couple of weeks. And so tonight we have Sandy Boyd and Jackie Thompson, no relation to Mike or Travis, on the line. They're joining us from Northwest Indiana, where we're near Crown Point Jail, and they're here to talk about the event and a couple other things, and kind of just enlighten us about the jail and the process and the building, which is a major project or a major passion project for Sandy and Jackie. And I know this because they tell me. So, ladies, it's so wonderful to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for inviting us on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about the jail all day, every day to anybody.
Hey, we're the same way about Dillinger.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, it's great. I love it.
I've been here 14 years, and
I've been here about 11.
yeah, and we're actually sitting in the sheriff's house right now. This is like our second home. So, the jail has an amazing history, and we are a restoration preservation foundation that owns the jail. There's actually a board of 9 of us. And the reason that we fell in love with the Dillinger story really is because of one of our former board members, Jim Emerson, who sadly passed away not too long ago. And he was a big Dillinger researcher. And I know you guys knew him. He talked to everyone. He went to the places Dillinger went to. He put a lot of time and effort into his passion. And he would talk to us about it all the time. And Jackie and I tend to focus a lot on keeping the jail running and the structural stuff and the bigger fundraisers and getting the money and all that. But Jim would keep the spirit alive of kind of the jail's claim to fame.
Sure.
You know, the escape story.
Yeah, Jim was a good guy.
I was just about to say Mike knew him, and Travis obviously met him. So we're sorry to hear that he passed away. But I think he would be proud of us right now in our efforts to keep this story moving.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. He Sandy, before we move on to like more detailed stuff about the jail, tell us how was it trying to get to the show, trying to get on this Zoom call or Google Meet call that we have? How was it easy?
No, it was not.
Oh no.
I can say we've done a lot of podcasts for a lot of different reasons, but
Yeah.
you know, we use the same laptop. We always meet here at the sheriff's house.
Yeah.
Got in tonight and everything looks like it's working on my end, and I asked to join. It's not letting me.
You don't say. That's a little weird. You say, guys.
Yeah, we like to call this the ghost of Hoover. Or Hoover's ghost is what we always say. Anytime there's a problem, it's Hoover's ghost.
Yeah, it's J. Edgar Hoover's ghost trying to screw with us. We're not necessarily saying paranormally, but it's literally like a running joke at this point that when we think something like everything we run into and technology is a big key to it. Like we have a problem, like everything's fine. We've done it before. We've tested it. Even Mike, right? Thompson will be tested. We'll test it beforehand. And sure enough, that night it won't work.
Yep.
So,
yes.
Well, so now you're truly assimilated as a Dillinger gang, a new Dillinger gang member. Because you didn't.
Thanks, and there was no in the group. Yeah.
Yeah. You So guys, let's obviously let's pepper them with questions. But hey, let's talk about this event. So Jim Emerson, right? He had a collection of documents or research. You're saying? Tell everybody what's going on and kind of how the event came to fruition.
Well, the crazy thing is, Jim passed away, and then not long after that, the city fire marshal came in with the state fire marshal for our haunted house. And then they make the comment that we need a change of occupancy because we're using the jail as something other than a jail. And we're kind of like, no, duh, it closed in 75. But they made a big deal about it. It went to state. We had to fight with the state fire commission, and they were saying we had to put in sprinkler systems, exit lighting, all this stuff. But we're a historical building. We're on Indiana landmarks, National Historic Registry. We can't destroy the building in that way. And we eventually had to hire a lawyer, a historic code consultant, to fight the state. So they had us shut down last year completely. Wouldn't allow us to open for tours, ghost hunts, nothing. So during that time, Jim's widow was going through, all of her belongings and Jim's personal items and, settling things. And then she started giving everything to us, all Jim's research, and which was beautiful of her, amazing. And that she thought of us like that. So, this year we are allowed to open, but they put a 50-person limit on us. We can't have more than 50 people in the building. But we thought, you know what, now's the time to showcase Jim's research and all the work he did. And we, went through a lot of ways. How are we going to do this? We could hang it all up. We could put it all out, but we thought, let's do something big. And I'm a TikTok girl. I love scrolling. And I saw Digging Up Dillinger on TikTok. And it happened to be an episode where you're out here by our building, physically here. And I'm like, hey, he's at our place, and then I started messaging you, and then kind of the idea came up, we should do a big event. And you and I had been talking at the time, and I kind of brought it up to you, and, we talked to other people here, and it was decided, let's do something big.
So you're giving me credit? Is that what you're saying for this event? Hey, I'm not trying to be funny. This isn't a joke. Remember, I'm not funny. So, here's the deal. First off, anytime I feel like Dillinger's lore still lives to this day, 90 years later, and yet 91 coming up soon, and I think that it's bigger than just you seeing Digging Up Dillinger. You felt it like, hey, this is a moment we need to kind of do an exhibit and showcase it. So is that what's going on? You all are going to be. It's March 31st. Is that right? Are we saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
May 31st.
Oh my God. Yeah, March 31st was like last week. No, May 31st. It's at the jail. And where can people find tickets if they want to go? And what's going to be going on? What are we going to be doing?
So people can go to our Facebook page, Old Jail / Sheriff's House. And we have an event there with a link to Haunt Pay. And Haunt Pay is where the tickets are. And you can find them there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There was a noise, and our building is haunted. We were voted the 6th most haunted location in the United States. So when there's a noise, I get a little.
Maybe Uncle John wanted to jump on.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions later about the paranormal side of the building and that side of it as well.
I mean, what's interesting is both Sandy and Jackie right now are kind of like, you guys are like your sound is coming through fine, but your pictures are like frozen, and every once in a while it looks like you just have bad internet. But those spirits, man, they draw that energy, and
it could be John's ghost.
Yep.
So far we got Hoover's ghost.
John and J. Edgar. Maybe they're fighting or something.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few other speakers at this event as well, but we're going to be able to. There's going to be 50 tickets for the inside at the jail, and then there'll be in the building next door. There's going to be a kind of speaker series that people can sit in on.
Well, we had to get really creative about this because we want to sell a lot of tickets. So what we did was talk to the building next door, the criminal courts building, where the courtroom is, where Dillinger was in. They use it as an event room, and it can hold 500 people. But what we figured, we could do 120 and split them up. So 60 will take tours in the morning and 60 in the afternoon, and everybody can see the speakers together. So we kind of did it that way. That way, those 60 we can split. Now we're doing something we've never done before with people, and we're going to take you on the entire escape route, out the court, the kitchen door, down the courtyard, down the block, into the alley.
Right.
We're going to have,
and then back again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to have like one of those big cardboard cutouts of John out there. You can take pictures in the alley with John, the whole thing, and just have some fun with that. But we've never done the full escape with anybody. We've done the inside and the cell blocks, but we've never taken you outside and shown you exactly how that worked and where our garage is and where the other garage is, so it's something new. And in the process of me posting stuff on Facebook, I got a message from some people that said, hey, we're the ones that actually bought, the sheriff's car that Dillinger escaped in a private auction. And we would love to have our car at your event. And we're like, yes. Yeah, we had no idea who bought it, but we've met with them. And actually the car wasn't running. And my husband's a mechanic, and he got the car running.
Oh, that's cool.
And,
in the garage? Did he bring it to the garage to get it fixed? Not funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
so we're talking the same car that was in the Expedition Unknown episode,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay. So
That's
it has a new owner now, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
That's an amazing card. I'm glad it's
I knew he sold it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Mark Love.
You guys have been putting in a lot of work getting ready for this event, and clearly it shows. You're done fighting with the state, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So, what after this event? Let's just say, what kind of work do you have to do? Is the jail and the building in good shape? I mean, I know you do the haunted tours and you do other tours throughout the year, kind of like showcasing it. But what else do you have to do? I mean, is it in great shape in order for you to continue, or do you need help?
We always need help.
It's basically a money pit, like any 142-year-old building would be.
Sure.
I would say it's 98% structurally sound. We have our areas. Before I can even have the event, I need structural engineers in here to replace one of the I-beams in that long tunnel that Dillinger came down.
Mm-hmm.
One of those shorter I-beams is a little compromised, and we're aware of that, and we need to have that one switched out. It's not going to be a huge job, but it is going to cost a bit. But in order to have the weight load on the floor above it, it's something we have to do. But we're always aware that we're constantly looking, keeping everything, updated in there, and watch for structural issues that we can tackle right away instead of later when there's a big problem.
And we are always accepting volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
okay.
It's great to hear.
And
Volunteers.
how about is there? I'm sure you guys will also be accepting any donations. Is there a way that people can do that, or we'll probably get to that later? But that's probably something else that's always welcome.
Well, go ahead, Stuart. Run the show, why don't you? Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I tend to do that from time to time.
Yeah. Right now we don't have an online place you can give money or anything. We can give our address at the end. You can always send us something in the snail mail.
Yeah, what's the snail mail address? Just give it now at this point. Stuart's running it.
Yeah.
Well, he thought you was laying down on the job, Joe.
Yeah.
It is P.O. Box 364, Crown Point, Indiana, 46307.
Great. Does the city and town of Crown Point work with you? What's the relationship like with the building and the town and the city?
We are independent. We are privately private foundation, so we don't get money from the city or anything like that. They do give donations, from time to time. We're kind of a separate entity from them.
Yeah,
But
outside of like money, I'm just saying in general. Like, do you guys have a good relationship? Does a town or city come to you and say, "Hey, listen, we're thinking this," or like, do you guys work well together, or with other events and not just this one coming up?
no, we don't really do events with the city. We have a great relationship with our police department in Crown Point.
Yeah.
They're amazing to us. Like when the haunted house comes around and we need security, they're on it. If we call and say, hey, we need barricades for the street in front, they're on it, they're great. And it's not like the city's like against us or anything like that. It's just, there's not a big relationship there.
Sure.
They're supportive.
Do you think the community as a whole up there, not just the city, but like the community accepts you guys as a building or supports y'all as a building?
I think we've come a long way. When the other president was here, it was more of a closed kind of thing. They didn't let a lot of people in, but they were doing a lot of work then too, so understandable. And I think when I came in and, even with Jim, we were like, let's open the doors. Let's get people in here, let's, share everything with the community. So for the last few years, we've really pushed ourselves out there to let people know, hey, we want you to come in. We want to share all of this with everybody, because it's so much fun.
And it's really just a cool place too. I mean,
Yes,
it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
I see that there could be like events there. There could be all kinds of things. There's so many possibilities for that place.
Why do you think it's cool, Stuart? Like, what about it makes it cool?
Well, I mean, obviously for me, being a Dillinger buff, the big thing
yeah.
is, that's the escape. That's where it happened, and it's still pretty much as it was. Everything is still there that was there in 34. So I mean, for me, that's the initial draw. But when you actually see it, the thing that I drew from that, walking that escape and actually seeing how it was laid out and everything, I don't think that there's any way that I used to think that Dillinger carried that off, with just bravado and just that he had done it. But I came out of there convinced that he had help from inside the jail, and that it wasn't quite as daring as maybe it looked.
Individual. It wasn't as individual.
Exactly. Yeah.
You would think as close as you are to Chicago, you might be able to pull a lot of people out of Chicago there for events.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially since he had ties to Chicago.
I thought Mike was saying someone came down from Chicago to help John get out.
In effect, they did, because it was most likely his attorney that gave him that wooden gun.
Yeah. Hey, and ladies, another question for you, Sandy and Jackie. Are there things about the jail that people get wrong in, like, overall the lure about John in the jail in some capacity? Whether it's just, telephone, right? Where people have been telling the story in the same way, a lie told too many times becomes true eventually, right? Is there something that maybe is a major fact that people get wrong that you guys know that you want to say is true?
You know what? If you watch, and I'm sure all of you have, that original black and white reel-to-reel footage of the night that he was brought here.
Yep.
In that footage, that press person or whatever reporter says that Lillian was in the kitchen busying herself making pies. Like, not true. 100% not true.
I think Travis, isn't that Lillian Holly right behind you, right there?
It is.
That's
the night they brought him in.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Travis. Likes to have backgrounds for his videos.
I do.
Yeah, and that is the exact one I'm talking about. That footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wish there was audio of that.
Oh man,
moment.
that would be.
You would think there should be.
Yep.
That's one thing that we're still.
Have you guys ever heard of any indication that there was audio, taken during that press conference?
No, never heard about it.
There's audio of one of the guards, and I'm dropping his name, Mike and Travis. You probably remember it. One of the he helped Dillinger get out. He was
the mechanic.
The mechanic, whatever his name was.
Oh, wow.
Sager.
Okay, Sager. So there's actual footage of him in an interview after the escape, not long after the escape, with Sager's voice, and he's describing what happened and everything. That was a big deal at the time, and I really find it surprising that they did not have audio for that Dillinger press conference there, because man, that would be the holy grail to find his voice recorded,
especially the joke that he was telling.
Oh yeah, whatever was so funny.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because he does a big old laugh in that during that one footage we have.
Yes,
he gets a big laugh.
They paid.
He's not funny though.
Back and stuff, so you would think with them there, they would definitely had him. Had his voice and everything.
Exactly. I mean, they had audio for the driver just a few days after the escape. So, when they brought Dillinger in, that was an equally as big of a deal, no question.
I mean, they interviewed my grandpa on the farm, and you hear him talking. So I mean,
exactly. So the point is, they had the capability, they had the technology to do it, and I just bet that it's out there somewhere.
Yeah,
at least that's probably just wishful thinking, but
yes.
Yep. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, good.
I think one of the other things too is people watch the movies like Public Enemies. And so they come in here and they go in booking and they see the safe and they're like, oh, that's where all the guns were kept. Well, they really weren't.
Yeah.
That safe was more for inmate belongings and keys. They didn't really keep guns in there.
Yeah.
But, people see movies and they assume like everything in the movie's true. And Dillinger never was up on the second floor where they filmed. That's another thing we have to tell them, like, no, it was kind of movie magic because it was bigger for their crew, but Dillinger was never up there.
Right.
Yep.
So those things, yeah.
Did Johnny Depp and crew film Public Enemies in the jail? Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did Johnny Depp sign the wall?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
so
no.
Well, that's funny because, you can, if you want to, everybody listening out in podcast universe, if you want to help raise money for the jail, one way you can do it is they offer an opportunity for you to sign, actually like etch your name into the jail's history forever for a small nominal donation.
Yep.
And you also sell bricks too, which is my favorite thing. When I see you, because I'm going to see you this week. When I come up there, I'm literally buying multiple bricks.
Good.
He likes to throw them at people.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in a brick. I'm so excited about coming back up there. I love when we go up there, and now getting to go do this. I'm so excited about this event, and we've had a lot of people reaching out to us about interest in this event. So.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Another cool thing, I had a couple guys reach out to me through Messenger, and they said, hey, we're the ones that got Dillinger's doors working again originally, and we'd like to come out and kind of maintenance them at no charge. So they're coming this week.
Nice.
And they're going to make sure that those are oiled and good to go to open and close, which would be awesome for us.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is great when I love hearing stories about when people are stepping up for you and doing that kind of stuff, which is, we're all passion project here. I mean, none of us are making money on this, right? Like we're not all getting rich behind the scenes selling bricks. So I think, well, for us, I mean, we go online and buy fake 1920s baseball gloves and try to sell them to museums. That's what we try to do.
Oh no.
My point is that we work really hard, I think, all of us, to do this and to keep this story going because of the fact that this history is so interesting and it deserves to be remembered in a lot of ways. And it's also, a time capsule for a lot of things, to remember a time, almost 100 years ago that
Yes.
people forget that it was like
Yep.
this. So
I mean, not only is it, I think Dillinger in Indiana history, it's also Sheriff Holly's. I mean, she was the first female sheriff in the state of Indiana. So,
Yep.
I think, that's much important for her relatives as it is John's relatives. So, I know there's some had been bad blood over the past, and I like that stuff like this can bring both sides together for a common goal here.
I never understood why. I mean, there was nothing she could done. I mean, the National Guard was out there. I mean, it just wasn't gonna. Nothing she could have done to do any different.
Well, she was undermined again by someone inside her own jail, because I don't think there's any doubt someone was paid off.
Well, for me, I know that when he first came here, he went to the 3rd floor in Federal. They welded on that extra bar up there.
Yeah.
And it was like a week later, somebody decided to bring him down to the 1st floor. And my thing was, who made that decision?
Yeah.
But I found out it was Lou Baker, the warden, and Sheriff Holly that made that decision to bring him down. And I trust Lily and Holly.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about Lou Baker, but bringing him to the 1st floor instead of keeping him up in Federal might have been the first big mistake.
Yeah.
With him, and not having him in solitary confinement. He should have been in solitary confinement.
Yep. Yeah.
Sounds like expertise to me. You two knowing exactly what you're talking about.
Well, and the other thing too is, I think there was probably a certain amount of naivete, trusting that that who would have thought that the lawyer himself would have smuggled this fake gun in, which was integral to the escape as well. Maybe they were more trusting in those days and just didn't think, oh boy, a lawyer would do something like that. I don't know. A lot of little things you can look at now, but for the most part, it wasn't so much that Lily and Holly did anything wrong, just that someone inside took advantage of it.
Yep.
Well, and you guys know that right before Dillinger came here, they had James First Salmons, who was one of Capone's hitmen, and they had kept him without incident. So I think their confidence was high.
Yeah.
When it was time for Dillinger to come, they're like, he's a bank robber. We had Salmons here with no incident. I think we can keep him. So confidence was very high too.
Yeah.
Well, the newsreel of the National Guard and all the other extra officers out front of the building. I mean, it looked like a fortress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why would she would ever thought that he would escape?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a lot of help. They had a lot of help from military-like people, like you'd think. But that's why he's the best. That's why he wins, because he pulled it off. Insane.
I mean, that's really one reason we're talking about him. 90 plus years. From then.
Yes.
Right.
Superhuman stuff.
Yeah. They wasn't too happy about it, especially Hoover.
Go ahead, Sandy. What were you going to say?
Well, for one thing, Hoover, we have school groups that come in, for tours and stuff. And one of the things I talk to them about is, the jail, yes, it was here in Crown Point. It was a county jail, but it had a lot to do with the entire nation and the creation of the FBI, or at least the name change, and validation of it. And that's why we got the Public Enemies. They were trying to validate this as a legit government agency. So, you put out Public Enemy #1 and these guys are catching them and the FBI looks great.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Hoover wanted.
Oh, yeah.
So how much, we know there's propaganda now. How much propaganda was going on then?
A lot. I mean, it really, Hoover built the brand of the FBI on Dillinger for the most part.
Yeah. And earlier you were saying, am I giving you credit? What I will give you credit for, honestly, is the fact that there is still interest out there in the story. There are still people out there that are digging information and still wanting to hear more about it.
Yep.
Our regular visitors, we don't always have Dillinger people. We have people that like the architecture, just the story of the jail, the whole thing. But when I see guys like you out there that are still really active in this story That I will give you credit for reminding me that it is an important story, you know?
We'll take
It
it.
is.
Thank you
It
for
is.
saying that.
Yeah,
We
thanks.
believe it. We say it every episode. We're kind of crazy about it. And if not us, who then? Right? So
Hopefully we'll get a chance to prove whether it's John or not in the grave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, I had Tony Stewart reaching out, the author, and
Yeah,
you know,
I know Tony.
they're out there, yeah.
yeah, we're doing there seems to be a lot more noises. Please tell me there's more noises.
From the jail. It's coming from the jail door.
Oh wow.
I love it.
We don't.
I want to come up and do ghost hunting now. So
Yeah. What I love is how in stride you guys take it. Oh, there's just a noise coming from the jail over there. You know,
oh no,
it's the normal thing.
Right?
Oh my God, this would be great if we had
I think we should do that. I think all of us should go up there and ghost hunt one night.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We only have a couple more minutes here. Do you want to regale us in some ghost story real quick? One of the ghost stories from the jail.
Okay, pick one.
Yeah, right. Actually, one of the guys we're looking for in there right now, is Frank Mickerline. Have you heard of that guy?
That does sound familiar.
Yes, sir.
He was a beer runner. He was a rival to Capone. And he comes into Crown Point and he goes into a bar and his buddies are teasing him that he wasn't a sharpshooter and he shot the guy at the end of the bar. Well, the guy at the end of the bar happened to be Thaddeus Fancher, a lawyer. And his family name is known in Crown Point. He just shot him dead. So he takes it back to Chicago. Finally, they get him, bring him back here. Both witnesses end up dead, of course, and he's acquitted of the whole thing. But while he was in here, he was crying the whole time that his rights were being taken away from him because he was in solitary confinement. So we're wondering if his ghost is here. We've been like looking for him. But we do have a lot of ghost stories from different things, and anything from pictures to video to touching to pushing to you name it, it's happened here.
Oh man.
Any John sightings? Would you say his ghost is possibly hanging out?
Well, we haven't seen a lot of it. One thing I can tell you did happen once. There is something called Obulus, and it spits out words, right? And there's a screen where you can read the words, and it has a bank of like 1,000 words, 3,000 words. We were in the kitchen, and one time spit out the word Dillinger. And I don't think Dillinger's in the bank of words.
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's a very interesting paranormal tool when it starts spitting out words that you weren't ready for.
What kind of freaking tool is that? That's the craziest tool I've ever heard. Okay. This is great. We really appreciate your ladies' time. You guys are in the jail, hearing noises. Ghosts join. We have ghosts joining us live on the podcast. This is great.
Dillinger bobblehead.
There's that's cool. The door.
That's very cool.
That's our Dillinger bobblehead.
That's really cool. I love it. We're super excited for coming up. Oh, this hat fell off. We're super excited to come up and speak at your event. We're happy to help you guys and the jail in any way possible. Again, you guys go to the Facebook page for the Crown Point Jail, and you can register there. Tickets are on sale now. Are they on now?
Yep. Yes. Great. Yep. It's up and running. Actually, I know you guys have another event that day too that you're doing, but that night, we're going to be announcing it. We're doing a gangster ghost hunt. So we're going in and we're looking for James Salmons, Frank Mickerline, Dillinger. We're looking for those guys.
Well, can I tag along? I'm wanting to do that.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that stuff. Yep.
Well, there you go. There you go. Maybe Dillinger will show up with some bloodline in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Listen, Travis, you just have to take a knife, take your hand, slice your hand, and rub it up against the jail.
We'll just handcuff him in Dillinger style. Leave him.
Yep, that's it. You guys have been wonderful. We are so excited. Thanks for sharing such details about the jail. We'd love to have you back on, especially we're going to have you on for the event itself, because whatever the talk is, I'm going to record it and then put it on as the podcast. But also we'll have you on that episode as well, talking about the day, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be beautiful weather. Everyone's going to be excited. And we're all just going to learn, and history will come alive once again here on Digging Up Dillinger and Crown Point Jail.
All right. Thank you guys for inviting us.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody. Ladies, do you want to do the honor and say our catchphrase at the end? It says, keep digging. Are you ready?
All right. Keep digging.
Yeah.
That's great.